Good evening, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 in the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well in this wonderful, nice, cool evening that we have. My kind of weather. We're probably at 6-7 degrees in the car. Probably a lot colder outside with the wind chill factor. And I love it. I love it. This kind of weather, along with cold showers in the morning, kind of gets you ready to go no matter how well you slept. You are going to wake up fast. And when I got the two dogs and the guys going with me in the morning at 4 or 5 in the morning, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful exercise in the morning. So, my friends, thank you once again for your comments, likes, and I get a lot of comments, interesting comments, great types of things, and some people believe and some people don't believe, and so some people were just saying we're just kind of talking about lies and all kinds of stuff like that. Other people, they've experienced it. And that's kind of the topic we're going to talk about a little bit today. Willem17 kind of talked about this a little bit. I want to kind of mention it too. But please, before I do that, go ahead and subscribe, like, comment. Like I said, I appreciate all the comments. I was someone who didn't believe in this for many, many years. And so, again, I understand now what's happened to me. And it took a long time. So hopefully you guys will, some of you guys who don't believe in this will come around and kind of look at the benefits of abstaining and the benefits of celibacy, brahmacharya, and help your lives. And that's the main reason I'm doing this. There's no other reason at this point that I'm doing this to go ahead. I'm not monetizing. I'm not doing anything like that. I want to make sure we get the message out, and that's more important to me than all the other stuff together. So hopefully I'm glad you're with us in the channel, even if you don't agree and you don't like what we're saying. That's great. Go ahead and keep giving us feedback, and love to kind of continue to hear the dialogue and kind of keeping ideas going. And that's the main thing we want to talk about. So Willem asked, why are no women chasing me? And I think that was a comment he made, and I appreciate that, Willem. I think it's a shout out to you, my friend. I think the key thing is that why are no women chasing you? This is the question you want to ask yourself if this is going on, and think about this. So let's talk about this a little bit. So we talk about retention. We're talking about the high level energy you have by retaining. Now, a lot of things have to kind of happen. Retention by itself is never going to draw those things to you, because you have energy, but it's kind of potential energy. And when I taught physics, I teach physics, one of the things you learn when you teach physics is potential energy is not good unless it's moving. So the first thing you have to kind of say to yourself is, okay, if I really want to do this, and then first of all, I would not recommend, the only reason you're doing semen retention is to get women. That's not going to work, guys. That's kind of a wrong attitude to have. The women will come to you. And it happens to me all the time. They will talk with you, they will be with you because they sense a man who is masculine energy. And there's no other way you can say that except the fact that you are holding your energy and you're drawing people to you because you are strong. You're not getting upset, you're not wimpy, you're not a beta male, you're not any of those type of things. You are not chasing people. They end up kind of chasing you because of that. So because of that, what ends up happening is that you are supposed to be building yourself up. If you're still worrying about women, if you're chasing women around, you're not going to have the same effect. You should not have to feel that way when you're on retention. And the longer you're on retention, the less you care about any of that kind of stuff. And psychologically, if that happens, all of a sudden, even from a psychological standpoint, they're going to look at you and wonder, why are you not like all the other men there? You're not chasing anybody. And that's the way it should be. Men should be out doing their own thing. And women, who 90% of the time will choose relationships, they see you, they have your eye on you, and they want to pursue you. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But the idea is that you have to be a man of strength, a man who has goals, ambition, and then those things will also rub off, and those things are energies that people see. And women see that energy and they say, man, this person's got a lot of energy, I want to be around that person. And that's what attracts them. I fully believe it's the energy. Now, David Jewett had said that it's God, and he could be right. He could be right. The more I think about this, they could be seeing something in you that they recognize that's different than a lot of other people. They could be seeing God in you, and it's very possible. That's what enthusiasm means, right? God within you. And those are the types of things that you want to see. When a person has that type of energy, that's a blessing from the Lord. Now, when we talk about, back to Willem's question here, talking about women see those things, they will be naturally attracted. What turns the women off? Well, certainly, if you don't use your energy, and now you're not transmuting it, all of a sudden, you're not going to have women around you as much, and they're going to be turned off. Or if you're struggling like I was. And guys, I'm saying this from experience. This is why, I understand that people that don't believe in this, I understand where people struggle with some of this, because I did for many years. But I will tell you that I could see a huge difference in what's happening in my life. When I used to have all these type of things where I would be releasing and I wouldn't be transmuting, I had no idea what transmuting was even, what that even was, until I started reading that book on the Fountain of Youth back in 1998, and I was in my 30s at that point. So the thing is that I didn't know any of this kind of stuff. And the idea is that when you're doing this, now you're talking about, now you're using the energy, and now you're transmuting it out. And there's all kinds of research that shows that men between their 40s and the 60s and beyond are successful because they've learned to control that sexual energy. And this is what we're talking about. You have sexual energy, we all do. The question is, what are you using it for? And women will see that, and they will become attracted. It's just a guarantee type of thing. They will look at you a certain way, they will smile, they will giggle sometimes, they sense your voice as soon as you say something to them. They sense it, because biologically, that's the way they're made. So as you hear that deeper voice, as you hear that person who is commanding in his voice, those things come from all that energy you have. You're not desperate anymore. You're not anxious. Now, if that's not happening to you, first of all, I would say to you, and Willem, and to everybody in this kind of case, especially like to a lot of younger viewers who really want a relationship, do not worry about it. First of all, do not worry about it. You're on the right path. It may, like it did with me, it took 47 years. So I know by experience it's not easy. This is one of the reasons I'm giving the message out, because you guys, I want you guys to use this information a lot earlier than me and be successful in your 20s and 30s instead of waiting until you're, like I am, in my late 50s and now early 60s. You need to go ahead and say to yourself, okay, I'm going to focus on my goals. And regardless if you believe in semen retention or not, that's still a great idea. Focus on your goals, focus on what you're doing, and don't worry about women. That's the bottom line. All the other stuff, certainly you don't want to be releasing and wasting your time. But even from a practical standpoint, this works. Even if you don't believe in retention, and you want to say it's a bunch of lies, the bottom line is still practical. You don't want to be chasing women around. It does you no good. You don't want to be doing that. You don't want to be releasing all the time, because it does you no good. You want to focus on goals, get things done. In the meantime, you won't have time for any of the other kind of stuff. And therefore, from an energy standpoint, you won't be wasting energy. But even from a practical standpoint, you're not going to be wasting time. In the meantime, women will then notice that, because it's so different in our society. When a man has some self-discipline, self-control of themselves, and they're not being able to be manipulated by society, by all these norms out there that they say this is the norm, you should be doing this and doing that. The women who are wanting you to have sex every night, all these type of things. This is not according to your purpose. And you're being drawn into it, and it's easy to stop it. Just like Joseph, who avoided the Pharaoh's wife, he ended up in prison, but he served that person, and God had a bigger purpose for him. So don't be afraid to stop and have some discipline. But also, if that's not happening, if women are not talking with you as much as they should, look at your transmuting, see if you're doing things with yourself. Don't think about the women, and all of a sudden you'll be shocked, because when women react to you, you'll say, oh my God, this is so different. It happens to me almost every hour. I talk with a woman, I look at a woman, all of a sudden they look different at me. they're giggling, they're smiling. You're talking about women between their 20s and 30s and 40s through their 50s even, because they sense a certain energy that's biological. We're not talking about a conscious thing. We're talking about biologically. They react. They know that you are a man of energy. You can feel it, and you can sense it. So that's why it's a great question, Willem, and thank you for being honest, and thank you, my friend. As a warrior, I could tell you're a true warrior. You be honest. You want to take care of situations, and if something's not happening, please explain it to us. We'll be able to talk about it. I think I'm happy to get any kind of feedback from anybody on this. The idea, guys, is that you're talking about, don't worry about the fact that women are not chasing you at the moment. There's going to be some women who don't like your energy. It happens to me. It happens to all of us. But you also want to make sure that you're focusing on the idea that if you're not getting the results you want, don't worry. Continue doing your purpose. Continue doing your plan. And in the meantime, what will happen is you'll be able to kind of get that result, because the opposite effect's going to happen to you. Once you're wrapped up in your goals and situations, you won't have to worry about it, because those things will happen to you. That's the law of psychology. The more pressure you put on something, the more they're going to push back. The less pressure, all of a sudden they come to you. All right, Willem17, thank you, my friend, for a great question, and I appreciate that. And guys, you guys have a rest of a good evening. Hope you guys stay nice and cold and enjoy the winter weather. All right, guys, remember two things. First, every day is a new day to a great warrior. And remember to continue to battle